Here's the argument against everything I believe, in the form you will actually meet it. Anarcho-capitalism works great, right up until the guy with the most guns decides your property rights do not apply to him. And then you die. Nobody signs their name to that. It is an internet line. But that is not the whole objection. Underneath it is a serious argument, made by serious people in real journals, and much better than the meme. This episode is me building their case. And before you invest 8 minutes, I do not beat it. Fix what the objection actually says, because my side keeps answering a weaker one. Nobody serious claims a stateless society would be chaotic. They claim it would be temporary, that it becomes a government again, quickly, and probably a worse one. And here is the strongest form, the one my side skips. Every market answer I have assumes an equilibrium that already exists, established agencies, standing contracts, settled prices. It never explains how you get there. There is a window at the beginning where none of that is true. No precedent, no reputations, no rules. In that window, the man with the most force does not have to outcompete anyone. He takes. And then he writes the rules the market settles around, not chaos. A gap at the start that force walks through. The philosophical version belongs to Robert Nozick in Anarchy, State, and Utopia, 1974. Nozick was not an enemy of this idea. He wanted the smallest government he could justify, and he answered the anarchist at book length rather than sneering. His argument runs like this. Start from real anarchy. Nobody's rights get violated. People buy protection. Protection has economies of scale, so bigger agencies protect better and cheaper. They merge, federate, absorb. Eventually, one dominant agency is left standing. And that thing, Nozick says, is already a state. It conquered no one. It got there by market pressure, economies of scale, and rational self-interest. Every step legitimate. Every step something I told you the market should do. It does not say a state invades your anarchy. It says your anarchy grows one. Then the economic version, the sharpest thing anybody has written against my side. In 1992, in Economics and Philosophy, Tyler Cowen argued that protection is a network industry. An agency cannot function unless it agrees to arbitrate with its rivals. So every agency is wired into one arbitration network by contract. And a network that can expel a member can also collude. Cowen's words. The existence of a common arbitration network creates a vehicle for protection agency collusion. Members agree not to compete, restrict output, raise prices, keep new entrants out. Sit with what that does to me. The mechanism I lean on, agencies cooperating to avoid ruinous war, is the exact mechanism that lets them cartelize. My solution is their weapon. Cowen concludes, anarchy becomes a state of the worst sort. Randall Holcomb pushes further. Government may be genuinely unnecessary and still inevitable, because the politically strong end up ruling the weak, regardless. I do not think that is stupid. I think it is the best thing on the board. Now my answer. And I will be careful about what it covers, because this is where my side cheats. Take 100 agencies. One goes outlaw, refuses arbitration, settles everything by force. The other 99 settle about 99% of their conflicts by arbitration. The outlaw settles 100% by violence. Violence is expensive. The outlaw is running the most expensive possible business. Nobody has to suppress it. Its own cost structure does that. That is David Friedman's own reply to Cowen, and I think it holds. But watch what it answers. It answers the warlord, one armed actor going rogue against a functioning market, priced out. It does not answer Cowen. His scenario is not one outlaw against 99. It is the 99 agreeing with each other. A cost argument against a defector says nothing about a cartel with no defectors in it. Nozick gets a different answer from Murray Rothbard in 1977 in a paper titled Robert Nozick and the Immaculate Conception of the State. Rothbard's move is blunt. Nozick has described how a state could arise without violating anybody's rights. Fine. Name one that did. His line, "For every state where the facts are available originated by a process of violence, conquest, and exploitation." So the invisible hand state is a story about something that has never happened. Every government we can inspect got there by taking, and I have to be honest about the size of that win, because it is smaller than it sounds. It answers whether today's states are legitimate. It does not answer whether a dominant agency would emerge. My side runs those together because the first is easier. Here is the part I owe you, and it is the reason this episode exists. Collusion between agencies is a real, open risk, and I cannot close it. Friedman cannot either, and to his credit, he says so in print rather than burying it. His words, "If all the existing firms do agree on a common anti-competitive policy, they may well have the physical force necessary to enforce it by keeping new firms from forming." His answer is not a proof. It is a comparison and a head count. Men who run protection firms are selected for pleasing customers, not for wanting power. And the danger falls as the number of agencies rises. He guesses nearer 10,000 than 3. He also writes flatly that safety is not an available option, and calls his own conclusion guarded optimism. Guarded optimism is not a rebuttal, it is a bet. And the history does not rescue me, because the history is contested. Somalia is the case usually thrown at me, rather than by me. Powell, Ford, and now Ross Day found in 2008 that its economic performance improved relative to other African countries during statelessness. A real, published finding in a real journal, but not a defense. Large parts of that country were run by armed men who answered to no one, which is precisely what we are arguing about. And the examples my own side likes to reach for do not hold up any better. Every one of them is disputed by serious historians, and I will not hand you a case as though the scholarship agreed. When the record is this mixed, honesty is the only move. The evidence cuts. It does not settle it. That leaves me narrower than where I started. I still think the monopoly is the bigger danger. For one reason, every state we can inspect got there by conquest, and not one was ever outcompeted out of existence. The warlord objection names a risk. The state names a result. But I have not answered Cowen, and I will not imply I have. My best reply is a cost argument that only covers defectors, plus a guess about agency headcount. If you want to take this apart, do not aim at the meme. Aim at the network. And if you can show me why the cartel does not form, or why it does, say so. I would rather be corrected than comfortable. I'm Anarcho Voice.